Alright, so I'm at the Business Insider, Joe Wiesenthal. This article, Gold Looks Like Death. Remember gold? We used to talk a lot about it around these parts, but we've pretty much stopped following it ever since the whole gold bug Fed hater thing got so thoroughly discredited. Anyways, it's not looking so hot. In fact, it kind of looks like death. Here's a chart going back a number of years. Look at this. As you can see, it's close to hitting 4-year lows as the US economy recovers and the dollar strengthens. Okay, this is really interesting right now. There are a lot of bearers right now in the marketplace when it comes to gold and silver. And there are a lot of bulls cheerleading the US stock market recovery. Now, I want you to look at this chart that I have created. Alright, look at this dollar yen chart versus the price of gold, okay? In the blue, you could see number one, this dollar yen, and it was close to around 76 in 2011. If you look at the price of gold in 2011, it's close to 1900-ish, right? This is just an average, by the way, so you're not going to see the price of gold here, like up here, where it should have been if I did a day-to-day chart, which I did not do, obviously. But anyway, we're just looking at averages here for the sake of this video. Anyways, as you saw the Japanese yen depreciate against the US dollar, so meaning the US dollar rose in value versus the yen, while the yen lost value because there were quid pro quo agreements between the US government or US Federal Reserve and also the Japanese Central Bank, and also you had Abenomics in 2013 where you saw this huge plunge in the price of gold and silver, right? If you can look at the plunge started close to around January, February of 2013, and then you could see it just go down. And as you can see here, Abenomics, right, this money printing by the Japanese Central Bank, which has made the yen depreciate, right? It's not helping the Japanese citizens out one bit, because if you look at it, yeah, the stock market may be going up, but is it solving the problems of unemployment? No. Is it solving the problems of unemployment in the United States with the Fed central bank printing? No. Just what's happening is a lot of people are getting discouraged and getting out of the workforce. That's the reality of it. It does help the 1% that do own stocks, or the individuals that do own stocks, so just put that into perspective. Anyways, if you look at this, right, gold price is down, dollar yen depreciating, or the yen is depreciating against the dollar, and that's where we see it right now. And we could see the latest decline in the price of gold and silver. You could see that the dollar yen is close to 109. It was 101, 102 earlier last month, and now it's 109. Gold prices were close to $1,300 an ounce. Now it's $1,217 as of tonight. If you want to look at even the stock market index over here, I'm going to create a better viewing platform for you right now. Alright, 2011, or this is actually this year, okay? And you could see the liquidity is not coming from the Federal Reserve. The liquidity is coming from the Bank of Japan. And people may be saying, what are you talking about? Well, if you look at it actually from the past few years, right, dollar yen going from like 76 to 109 now in the blue. I mean, this is actually the beginning of the year, where it's like 105-ish. But anyways, you see it's 109, right? Dow was like 11,000 in 2011. And then all of a sudden, you saw this extra liquidity coming into the stock market. A lot of people were surprised. How is the stock market going up? Yeah, it's the liquidity coming from the Bank of Japan. Not many people are able to identify this. And the mainstream media, CNBC, is not discussing this, which is unfortunate, because people don't know what the hell is going on. They think that the economy is actually getting better, when in fact it's not. Anyways, if you look at the Dow, even from last month, like early August, right? Dow was like 16.4, now it's like 17.2 or 17.3, close to there. and dollar yen 102 to 109. So that's clearly correlated. If you look at this chart, if you want to look at a chart from a few years, dollar yen is the reason why the market's going up, and also why gold and silver are going down. And you could see a lot of people are bullish on the Dow, and a lot of people are bearish on gold and silver. Alright, now I made this chart of silver from about, I don't know, 10, no, not 10 years, like close to 13 years, over 13 years. And what I did was I just drew a trend line over here in green. And this data I found online. It's not exactly the same as the silver chart or silver prices out there, but it's really close. So I just still made this graph, and I also drew this trend line. I maybe should have lowered this green over here, so this green line should be slightly lower, but this just gives me a picture of, okay, you've seen like relative support with this trend line, right? That doesn't mean that it's gonna occur in the future. I'm just doing it for fun and just my own purposes. I'm just thinking out loud right now. And what ended up happening was I drew this trend line again. I see the headlines, right? Gold is dead. All these guys who are pro gold and silver, they're idiots, this and that. I see a lot of people saying that, hey, we were right, you were wrong, right? Whenever emotions get one-sided, right? When you see a lot of people on one side of the boat and then not many people on the other side, I'm thinking to myself, hey, you know what? It may be time for myself. I'm not telling you what you guys should do, just maybe to be a contrarian, right? I mean, to put a little perspective, yes, I do have a YouTube channel where I talk about gold and silver, this and that. Sure, I do buy shares, mining shares, but at the end of the day, I've also mentioned this before, I think. I really haven't bought that much physical silver within the last few years. I just didn't pull the trigger. I didn't feel comfortable. I did buy 10 ounces last year, and this afternoon I just bought a lot more than 10 ounces of silver. I'm not going to say how many ounces of silver I bought, just I bought silver, a lot more than 10 ounces. And I just felt that, hey, you know what? There's so many people that are bearish right now. And yes, I do realize that the price of silver could go down, I don't know, to maybe $15 in the interim. It could go much lower, and I've said this before in videos, to $9, $10 an ounce if you have a deflationary head fake, right? 2016. What if that happens, right? The Federal Reserve decides to aggressively raise rates. Yeah, gold and silver are going to get pounded. There's no doubt in my mind that's going to happen if the Fed does that. But if the Fed takes another course of action, or we see another variable, who knows where the price of silver and gold could go. I'm just looking at it from a long-term stacking perspective. Number one, if it's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20, 25, 30, you know what? I believe the price of silver is going to go much higher from here. I'm still relatively younger compared to some of the people that are listening, so some that are listening may not have the same investment thesis as I do, right? Some people may be liquidating their 401ks because they're retiring, right? So they may not want to buy a volatile asset like silver and gold. So that's really important to note. Anyways, all I'm saying is I'm looking at this trend line, see so many bears out there. Sure, it doesn't have to follow this exact trend line. Sure, there's a lot of bearish sentiments. Sure, a lot of traders are saying that other charts for gold and silver look nasty, and we could see much lower silver. But I'm not trading this right now. I'm just looking at it from a stacking perspective. And I also have learned that, hey, you need to have a diversified portfolio, and I probably will not be investing aggressively until maybe the next bottom. I feel it's going to be like 2017, 2018. That's when I'm going to aggressively add to my portfolio, right? Right now, it's just I don't want to aggressively go into the market when the market has gone up over 300% for the Dow. Anyways, guys, I want you guys to tell me what's going on in your mind right now. Silver in gold? Do you think it's going to go much lower? Where do you see it going? And yeah, let's just have a dialogue going, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening. Bye.